Holiday season is approaching, and that doesn't just mean time away from work, time with your family and loved ones. It also means holiday season for sneakers, one of the most anticipated times of the year for people that share this silly hobby. And recently, Sneakers had a live preview session of the upcoming Jordan Brand shoes of the holiday season, and I'm here to rank them. Now, disclaimer, there's definitely going to be some Jordan Brand shoes that make it to holiday season that wasn't shown as part of that preview session that's not going to be on this list. However, rumors have already started to swirl around some of those shoes. I didn't include them in the official top 10 because the release dates are like super flimsy. Sneakers didn't show them in that session, so we'll wait to see more details. Maybe I'll make another video later on when more is known about those shoes. But for the sake of this video, I'm only going to include shoes that are confirmed, or at least 90% confirmed. You never know with the sneaker industry. But for honorable mentions, I do want to mention some of those other shoes that are rumored to be coming. Not much is known about them, but I will mention them. Some of these shoes I really like. Specifically, the two pairs of the A Ma Maniére Jordan 5s. Again, not too much is known about those shoes. They weren't shown as part of that sneakers session, but I did want to give them an honorable mention before I start this list. And just remember, this list is my opinion. I like what I like. You like what you like. Feel free to disagree. Let me know in the comments if you disagree, but keep it civil. And at number 10 is the Jordan 6 Aqua that's dropping on October 7th for $200. And Aqua is obviously an OG colorway of the Jordan 8. They need to bring that shoe back already. They gave us the playoffs, or they're giving us the playoffs very soon, but we need the Aqua colorway. And the Aqua colorway, they recently lifted that colorway and dumped it on the Jordan 5. I actually happen to like the shoe. You can see I spoke with my wallet. I bought this shoe. I like this shoe. I like that colorway on this shoe. But for some reason, the Aqua colorway on the Jordan 6 just doesn't look that right to me. First of all, I've never really loved the Jordan 6, particularly the pull tab on the heel of the shoe. I know it's inspired by the spoiler of a sports car. In a vacuum, I still don't love how it looks. The Jordan 6 also fits just kind of not right on my feet, similar to the Jordan 7s. From a bird's eye view as a wide footer, those shoes they look a bit too fat on my feet. There's just so much overflow. I hate myself when I wear Jordan 6s or Jordan 7s. And the shoe looks to feature an all black upper sole, of course with that aqua color on the midsole. And quite honestly, the only reason this shoe is on this list is on the top 10 is because other holiday shoes that Jordan Brand has announced, at least confirmed or shown in that sneakers preview, like the Jordan 1 Mauve, don't like that shoe at all. The Jordan 13 Wheat, I know a lot of people are looking forward to that shoe, but personally don't really love that colorway. So even though the Jordan 6 Aqua is in my top 10, it barely made the list. And at number 9 is the Air Jordan 12 Cherry that is dropping on October 28th for $210. And the Jordan 12 Cherry, we last saw this shoe in 2009. So it's been a long time since it's retroed. Obviously, the Jordan 12 Cherry is an OG colorway. It's a very simple colorway, and it's one that a lot of people like. However, the Jordan 12s historically isn't as popular as like the 1s, 3s, 4s, even 5s. And I fall into that group. I've never really loved the Jordan 12s. I think it's comfortable. I think it looks nice on feet. However, unless it's a really nice colorway, doesn't get me too excited. And even though the Cherry is an OG colorway, OGs are a bit more special just for the historical significance. But in a vacuum, just a Cherry on the Jordan 12, yeah, doesn't make me feel things. Obviously, we got the Jordan 11 Cherries last holiday season. I actually happen to like that shoe, didn't love it, and I think it's the same thing as this shoe. I like it. People are going to clown me for not liking an OG colorway. Don't really care, it just is what it is. I still say we need to bring back the Jordan 10. Don't know what Jordan Brand is thinking. And this shoe, very simple. Like other Jordan 12s, or at least a lot of Jordan 12s, comes with a predominantly leather white base layer with that faux lizard skin on the mudguard, as well as that Phylon midsole with a carbon fiber shank plate. In terms of performance and like the tech specs of the shoe, especially for an older shoe, I really like the Jordan 12s, but overall the silhouette, don't love. I do like it, but don't love it. The highest I can put it was number 9. Next, at number 8, is the Air Jordan 1 Low 85 Neutral Grey that's dropping on October 25th for $170. Now, two things. Number 1, this shoe is an OG colorway, and originally it was called Natural Grey. Along the way, not quite sure what happened. They just started calling it Neutral Grey, but originally, back in 1985, when this colorway dropped, when this OG colorway dropped, it was called Natural Grey. Number 2, I don't believe this shoe was part of that sneakers holiday preview session. I could be wrong, so if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments below, but I don't believe so. However, there's been quite a few images and news of the shoe dropping in October, so I'm pretty confident that it is confirmed. Now, the neutral grey OG version of the shoe, not the 85 cut version of the shoe, actually came back in 2021, but this time they're returning back to the 85 cut. So you'll see there's 8 eyelets instead of 7 that comes with the non-OG as well as the OG version of the Jordan 1 Low. 8 eyelets, and it's got a sleeker and more slender profile. So it's as close to the 1985 cut out of all versions of the Jordan 1 Low. Now, this shoe features a white leather base layer with grey suede on the heel as well as the swoosh. And the one thing that I don't like about this shoe is they pre-aged this midsole. I just don't get it. Just make it white just like it was in 1985. I get you trying to go for that pre-aged vintage aesthetic. No, just give me a white midsole. And this colorway, when it originally released in 1985, it was actually one of the least popular colorways. Obviously, you got the Bread, the Black Toes, the Chicagos. Hard to beat those colorways. And very recently, I did review the Jordan 1 Low OG Atmosphere Grey. In that review, I did say it was a nice shoe, but I did feel like it was kind of boring. It wasn't like the most exciting shoe. Very clean, very wearable, very versatile, but compared to some other Jordan 1 releases that was around that time, like the Black Toes, it didn't get me too excited. Now, this shoe, obviously at a glance, very similar, but the difference is this is an OG colorway, and we just don't see 85 cuts that often. So in a vacuum, even though the colorway still doesn't get me super excited, but because of these other factors, there just is a little bit more extra to it. At number 7, it's the Air Jordan 4 Olive that is dropping on December 2nd for $210. Now, this shoe does feature a mix of materials, predominantly suede and nubuck on the upper sole, and it does have that pale vanilla color on the Jumpman on the tongue as well as the heel. That color, you see that on the Jordan 4 Crafts that released earlier this year. That's actually my least favorite thing about that shoe. I have that shoe, and that just kind of reminds me of pee stains. I can't unsee it. The pale vanilla, it's been used on other shoes before, a lot of different times, but for whatever reason, when they put it on the Jumpman on the Jordan 4, it just, yeah, it's not that appealing to me. But like I say with every Jordan 4 review, it's very, very hard to make a bad, ugly Jordan 4. And the olive color, it's one of my favorite colors. Generally, most of my wardrobe consists of like shades of gray, white, black. But olive, it's one of my favorites. It's like one of the rare colors that I actually wear very often. Everything else are technically just shades, but olive just gets me. Now, I will say with that shade of olive and with the mix of materials that's used, some people might think it looks like fake grass on a shoe, and I can maybe see their point. Maybe it kind of looks like a patch of golf grass, but I don't know. I like it. And this shoe actually is kind of reminiscent to the Jordan 4 Travis Scott samples. I don't know if it's actually directly influenced and inspired by that shoe, but you can see the similarities. And with all Jordan 4s, even though it's a very uncomfortable shoe, especially for wide footers, it's just hard not to love. That silhouette, just the look of that shoe, yeah, it's like automatic top 10. And at number 6, this one might be slightly controversial. A lot of people really, really look forward to this shoe. It is the Air Jordan 3 Fair that is dropping on November 25th for $210. Now, the original Fair pack dropped in 2013, and a lot of people have been wanting this shoe to come back. And in 2023, this holiday season, it is confirmed to be coming back. Now, the Fair pack was inspired by the Be Legendary campaign. I believe that dropped in 2008. And if you haven't seen it, definitely look it up on YouTube. And the insoles of the Jordan 3 Fair, it directly references to what Michael Jordan says in that ad. So you see the words, "I'm scared of what I won't become." And on the other shoe, it says, "You're scared of what I could become." That's like one of the most coldest phrases ever. Especially coming from MJ, it's just... And the shoe features a predominantly black upper sole, or technically the official color is Night Phantom, and you'll see some suede on the mudguard, as well as the elephant print of course, and that very unique gradient looking midsole with hints of orange. Now overall, the Jordan 3s are obviously one of the best sneakers ever, and this colorway, on any other given day with a different set of shoes, I think it would have made my top 3, but just personally, the top 5 it's hard to change. I wouldn't swap out any other top 5 for this shoe. Is what it is. Next up, at number 5, is the Air Jordan 1 Satin Bread that is dropping on October 18th for $180. Now, it wasn't actually too long ago that we saw this shoe. It came out in 2016, but it was only limited to 501 pairs, so super limited release. A lot of people really coveted that shoe, but this time it's a general release and the entire upper sole is satin. It's going for that more luxurious aesthetic and a very, very iconic OG colorway, the Bread colorway, and it is a woman's exclusive. And on this shoe particularly, you'll see the Wings logo, it's stitched, instead of like debossed into the shoe. Now for me personally, in a vacuum, I just do prefer leather shoes over everything else. Just leather is king in my opinion. I don't really love satin, even though it might look nice, it might look more luxurious to some people. I prefer leather. However, you just can't deny the colors on the shoe. The color blocking, the red and black. Yeah, unbeatable. And I bet you the shoe that I put above this shoe at number 4, people are gonna call me an idiot, call me stupid, say I'm tripping, but I don't care. It's my opinion. It's my list. It is what it is. All I can be is honest. So that brings me to number 4. It is the Air Jordan 5 Midnight Navy that's dropping on November 10th for $210. Now this shoe looks to come in that same material as well as construction of the Jordan 5 Craft. That's, in my opinion, one of the best shoes to drop in 2023. Super clean. The Jordan 5 is super comfortable, super underrated. You can probably still grab a pair of those like at retail if you go to a certain store. If you look hard enough, you can probably still grab a pair of those. And the upper sole of the shoe, the base layer is that canvas textile material with hairy suede overlays. Again, in a vacuum, I prefer leather over any other material. So the materials on this shoe, while nice, not my personal favorite, but the colors, as well as Jordan 5 being my favorite silhouette, easily my favorite silhouette. Just something about that color is just, oh. And I think I might just have a sickness with Jordan 5s, like the Jordan 5 Burgundy. In my head, I thought that was gonna sell out like instantly. I believe if you go to Nike.com, you can pretty much find a full-size run. If it's not a full-size run, a ton of sizes available. So I just have a very distorted version and perspective of how other people see the Jordan 5s. I love it. Good for me. I wish no one else likes it because that's more for me. And on top of being one of the most comfortable retro Jordan shoes, just look at those icy outsoles with that midnight navy color on the upper sole. It is so beautiful. It just, I don't know if it's the most wearable, but for me, the Jordan 5 lover, that's it. They got me. Now I will remind you, there seems to be a few pairs of Arma Air Jordan 5s that will be coming out later this year. I don't know if that's been confirmed yet. I also don't believe that was part of that sneakers preview session. It's hard to find like official images of that shoe. So I'm not including it on this list, but they are honorable mentions. And if they were confirmed, they'd be on this list. There would be more Jordan 5s on this list, probably higher ranked than this midnight navy pair. Those shoes, they're a problem. And we're going into the top 3. At number 3, it is the Air Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined that's dropping on November 4th for $180. Now MJ actually never wore this colorway when he played, but he did wear it during a photo shoot, and that became a very iconic and famous poster, the Flight Guys poster. Now the Jordan 1 Royal colorway, it's an OG, one of the best ever, and it is another iteration of the Reimagined series. So we've obviously seen the Jordan 1 Lost and Found, the Jordan 3 Reimagined, and now the Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined. But instead of just making the shoe pre-aged, like you see on the previous 2 Reimagined series, this shoe, it changes out the materials of the original Jordan 1 Royals to a full suede upper sole. And despite just kind of looking a bit off with that suede material, I still really like this shoe. The color's just, it's so nice. I also happen to like black sneakers more than the average person, like the black base layer. I really like. Got the dark marina blues, got the pollens, I have the heirlooms, I have the Palominos. Love all those shoes. And this one, absolutely beautiful. Now I know a lot of people have problems with like swapping out the materials of a really beloved shoe with another one. I personally don't really have a huge problem with that. Even though this suede on this shoe in this color does look a little bit weird, but still really like it. It's not going to like detract me from trying to get the shoe. And with that said, at number 2, it is the Air Jordan 11 Gratitude that is dropping on December 9th for $225. Now we originally saw this shoe in 2006 as part of the Defining Moments pack, and a lot of people, when rumors of this shoe coming back were first like announced, a lot of people expected it to be like a 1-to-1 retro. However, just like the Jordan 1 Royal Reimagined, Jordan Brand is taking a beloved shoe and swapping out the materials. So instead of the mesh base layer, this shoe does come with a full leather base layer. And like I said before, I don't really mind swapping out materials of a beloved shoe from before to another one, as long as it looks nice. And as someone that really prefers leather, I like it. It might look a bit odd on the Jordan 11, but that leather base layer, I like it. I don't care what you say, I like this shoe. It looks super nice. Now one thing that I've never really loved about the Jordan 11 is the patent leather, obviously a very distinct feature of the Jordan 11, which is why the Jordan 11s were never like top 3 out of all Jordan shoes on my list. But when they come correct with such a nice and legendary and iconic colorway, it's very hard to deny. So I don't really know what the general vibe of that material change for the shoe is, but we'll find out in December. It'll be interesting to see how many people actually just really hate this shoe simply because of that material change. And as nice as the Jordan 11 Gratitude was, it's not number 1, because the number 1 on this list, it is going to be controversial. I think 99.99999% of people that see this video, they're gonna look at this top 10 and see number 1, and they're gonna call me crazy, they're gonna say I'm stupid again, but it's me being honest, it's my list, it's just my opinion. The number 1 on my list, it is the Air Jordan 1 Off Noir, or Oreo, whatever you want to call it, whatever the internet ends up calling it. It is a beauty, and this shoe is dropping on December 7th for $200. Now the Oreo colorway, we've seen it on the 99 version of the Jordan 4s, then you had the white Oreos that came out in 2021, and then you had the Jordan 6 Oreo and the Jordan 5 Oreos that you can see right behind me. That's one of my favorite shoes ever. And like I said before, I tend to like black sneakers more than the average person, and I think this shoe being number 1 on my list, it just defines how I see black sneakers. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people think black sneakers just look off, harder to wear. For me, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just really love it. I actually put up a poll the other day comparing this shoe and the Jordan 3 Fair, both coming out in the holiday season, and the Jordan 3 Fair was overwhelmingly the favorite. It was like 63-37% split. I do only have like 160 followers on Instagram, so follow me, Soul Inclined, on Instagram if you haven't. But as unscientific as that poll was, I feel like that is probably the general sentiment for most people when it comes to those shoes. But for me, this colorway, just very simple. And on the Jordan 3, of course, one of the best silhouettes, it just gets me. It's one of those intangible things that if I break down each of the metrics that I use for my Soul score, it might not rank that high. But the intangibles, the unquantifiable things this colorway on this shoe gives me, it does it all. I love it. It's my favorite shoe out of all holiday shoes that's been announced so far. And this shoe features a nubuck or suede, can't really tell. It's either a nubuck or suede upper sole with a leather ankle collar and tongue. And of course, the cement gray elephant print and coconut milk to finish off the midsole as well as the eye stays. Now there's probably one gripe with this shoe. White midsole, please. That would have just really made the shoe perfect, just like the Jordan 5 Oreos. Why couldn't we just replicate that on the shoe? They just never do exactly 100% of what I want. But despite all that, honestly, this wasn't that hard of a decision. I still think this is just easily the best shoe on this list. It is what it is. So that's it. Thanks for watching Soul Inclined. Let me know what you think of the list. If you think it's trash, let me know. If you agree with it, let me know. Whatever it is, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.